And we waived wide receiver Cam Meredith, so it keeps our numbers at 90. Anything after practice here?
Coach, why the release of Meredith?
Just, the injury he had set him back, and then some of these younger guys now have just been, doing a good enough job, and it's hard with the numbers. It's unfortunate because, he's someone that he's worked hard, he's worked his tail off, and yet, it was going to be hard for him to catch this group of younger guys that are competing.
Did he have any more swelling or soreness or anything?
Well, there was always that up and down, but he cleared and was, back full go, and it was still a matter of really us looking at the roster fit.
I know it's something that happened 2 years ago. Any regrets there about maybe signing a guy who really had some health issues?
Part of the deal. It's part of the deal. I don't regret signing Drew.
Sean, when you look at going into the draft and the plans for when you got a guy like Saquon Hampton and the vision you have for him, and then Chauncey Gardner, even though you describe them as safeties, it seems like they're two totally different players than what were your expectations. Yeah,
look, the versatility I think is important. Chauncey gives you that ability to play over the nickel, and I know he's a safety, and yet we see him more inside than outside, and Hampton clearly we see as a safety. So I think the versatility and their ability to learn and play several spots, but Chauncey we saw a nickel vision.
Sean, you're seeing more and more out of these guys at center in the rotations. What are some of the things you're seeing that you like, and some of the things you want to see them clean up on?
Well, look, just the overall consistency, the two new players, and then I think, under center snaps for McCoy are maybe a little bit more frequent than he's used to, and it's early though. I mean, we've just second day in the pads, so I thought we got good work in today. We hit a stretch in the middle of practice where it kind of lagged, and then I thought we picked it back up a little bit better.
Coach, what intrigued you about bringing in Patrick Omame and signing him?
Well, we worked him out prior, and at that time he wasn't ready to sign. We worked him out again, so we were aware of where he was at, and we like the athlete.
Given your relationship with Doug Marrone and knowing that Omame has played for him twice,
yeah,
how much that changed your decision?
That didn't, but certainly, he was a player that was on the radar for us and had been here earlier for a workout.
Sean, you were talking about Alvin Kamara's usage the other day. There's obviously a lot of backs in this league. Christian McCaffrey comes to mind, Saquon Barkley, that are playing a lot more like 90+% of the snaps. What do you like about not putting that kind of workload on them?
Well, it's look, some games take place and the numbers might be higher. I don't really look at the other comparisons. I look really more on how we're doing, and so I think based on the game we're in, we're not afraid to play him more snaps or get more touches, and yet when you get into the length of the season we have, we think he does a lot of things exceptionally well. So I think the question was, what new things? Well, there's a lot that you mess with and tinker with, but the versatility that he's playing with now and the level at which he's playing with, I'm pleased with.
The way you used Mark Ingram when he was here,
yeah,
did that kind of figure into your thinking about maybe some of these guys a little less is actually more as far as kind of being able to keep them fresh?
Look, Mark hit a stretch where he played, some of his best football the last 3 years, and he was healthy. Certainly that combination of finding that combination of players, but we're looking for good football players, and we're going to try to have our best guys out there. So we're evaluating that, and when we get into the preseason games here, the scrimmage settings, we're going to pay attention to what we see with the runners. Mark was a real good player for us, exceptional player for us, and our job is to mix the personnel groupings that we think fit what we're trying to do, but the versatility he had or Alvin had is that they can block the pressure, they understand the protections well, they're effective in the passing game, and so these other guys we're evaluating.
Austin far was
Coach, it seems like the confidence.
returning punts today. What have you seen from him and some of the other guys as that position battle?
Well, it's a good question because to me it's a little blurry right this minute. I think it'll slowly begin to clear itself up once we start playing some games. He's just one of the candidates. There's a handful of guys back there, so I would really say that regards there's no name etched in stone at the top. I think that we'll be able to go kind of by what we see in this preseason, and if it's not good enough, then that player might not be in the building yet. So we've got to look closely at it.
Coach, the confidence in Breeze and Cooks seems to be getting there. How encouraged are you to see that daily kind of ramping up?
Yeah, I mean, I think the one thing you see with Cooks is his stature. A lot of times you'll talk about a big target, and there is a confidence level when you throw it to someone who's that tall and who's got really good hands. So they've been able to make some good plays. He's smart and he's picked things up to his credit in the spring, and now you're starting to see some of the plays that take place. So that's encouraging.
Coach, Buck Allen hasn't been out here for the past 4 days. Do you have an update on him?
No update.
With Marcus Williams, I know he wasn't out here either, but big picture, even as some of his numbers like interceptions and tackles slipped last season, what were some of the things that maybe numbers don't show that?
It's a big plays for us too. You're just looking at some of these fourth quarter wins that we had in close games. He's got the interception against Cleveland that all of a sudden flips the field for us. He's real smart. He's been someone that we continue to see the arrow go, and he's got that ability to be way out here. So we're excited for him, especially going into his third year.
Sean, what have you seen from Deontay Harris?
Look, it's 2 days in, so with a lot of these guys, you're just starting to get familiar with what they look like with pads on, how they carry their pads. I think it's still early.
Sean, with the presence, the fullback position, obviously, the past few years things have changed, but don't you believe you have one of the better ones in the league in Zach Lyon?
Well, he's done a really good job. He's a guy that can play snaps in the kicking game. He's actually played some snaps at halfback. We were a little light today at running back. He was a running back. He's smart, and it's been a good fit for us, yeah.
Speaking of running backs, with Dwayne Washington and his versatility returning kickoffs, how important is that for him to ingratiate himself with the team, especially with Buck
I would
Allen?
say his versatility more so in the kicking game as a cover player, as a four-core player, more than a kick returner.
Is he making strides with the team?
Yeah, that's something that helped him a year ago with us, that he was going to the games. He was someone that could play at the running back position, but when he wasn't, he was getting snaps on all the units.
How difficult do you think is it to sustain what you guys have been able to do the last couple of years? Because it's a pretty high bar.
Look, I think it's high each year. I mean, I think our expectations and what we want to achieve from a season hopefully are high. So I think winning in our league is difficult, and getting to that consistency and I've got a tape I just put together. There's 5 or 6 games a year ago that were inside a touchdown. It's kind of what's the difference in an 8-8, 7-9 season to a 12-13 win season. You're going to play 5 or 6 of those games that are within a score, and you got to find a way to win more of those than you don't.
In your opinion, what wins those games?
Well, the details, the little things, because it's not just one side of the ball or the other. It might be the fake punt against Philadelphia. It might have been the interception against Cleveland. It might have been your run efficiency. I mean, in each game, there's a handful of little things that you could look back. It's hard to point to just one thing. We like to, but it's usually a series of little things that end up being something big.
You think a veteran club kind of understands that more than maybe some of?
Well, a veteran club understands more, period, than a younger club.
Sean, this is a non-science question, but how hard was the game plan for Ed Reed? Ed Reed. He's going to play this week. Just how hard
Listen,
was
really
it?
hard. He had that great ability to kind of, be in spots, study formations. He's exceptionally smart. And then when you put his athleticism with his intelligence, you'd count on him being in one spot. He'd see a formation, he'd see a combination, and all of a sudden either be breaking up a play or intercepting a ball in a spot foreign to you traditionally coverage-wise. So he had fantastic instincts, very smart, and very gifted. He's a great guy too. I mean, just when you get around him, you realize all the things that, all the attributes he has, and it's a pretty good combination.
PJ was saying yesterday that you talked to him about just cleaning up your locker and all the little things that Ed Reed would do. Is that something that you just kind of picked up about?
Well, it was something we picked up on a tape that what makes a winning team, the little things. It starts with, picking up your towel and putting it in the laundry bin.
Do you think we should clean up our cubicles in the media room?